Good morning, welcome to another video. So we've got a bit of a review and a bit of an outdoor cook to do today. I've got the Anevay Horizon Stove with me today, so I'm just lugging this down towards the cliff, and once we get on the beach we shall open the box and have a look what it's like. Right then, so this turned up last week from Anevay. So this is the Horizon Stove. So let's open up the box and see what we've got inside. So here we are. So this is the Anevay Horizon Stove. The Anevay Horizon Stove is basically a rocket stove. Or otherwise known as a volcano stove. It's a very, very simple idea. So it's quite light. The actual weight of the device is just here. It's made out of stainless steel. It's made out of galvanized steel on the base and on the cook stand there as well. And then you've also got this protective cage around the stove as well. So there's two reasons for the protective cage that I can see. One is that so that you can pick the device up when it's actually cooking and it's not going to be hot. And two is also to protect it because it is quite thin stainless steel itself. So rocket stoves, they basically work on the principle of burning wood, burning fuel and gasifying the vapours that are released during pyrolysis as the wood is burning. So it's utilising all of the gas, it's burning the gas that is released from the wood during combustion. So I've got a feeling that this is going to be quite a hot stove to cook off. So I think it's going to be a case of just regulating how much fuel you put in there, so you're not burning all of your wood very quickly, and of course you're not burning your food as well. So as you can see from this stove, it's a really solid stove. It's got a good base on it, so cooking on the beach like this, on the pebbles and stuff, it is pretty much solid once it's sat on the floor there. So the top of the cooker itself is really sturdy as well. This can take a really big pan, so something like a paella dish would be absolutely perfect on top of this as well. It's not what I would call a very portable stove. You know, it's not a stove that folds up and it's going to be lightweight inside of your bag at all. The great thing about it is it is not that heavy, so you can carry it in one hand. It's not going to knacker you out. It's not going to be a heavy carry. I mean, I've just dragged it all the way down along the cliff there, and it hasn't been a pain really at all. So like I said before, I mean, this is a really robust stove. You know, as a stove for something like this, for cooking on the beach, for a family meal on the beach, this is an absolute fantastic bit of kit. If you're car camping, this is really suitable for car camping as well. Or, you know, like myself here today, if you're not going to be walking too far, this is not going to be a nuisance all of the way down. So in the box, we've basically got a fuel bundle inside of the box as well. So this bundle here, it basically has a set of long matches inside of it, some tinder, some kindling, and it's also got some cut up pressed fuel logs as well. So this stove itself, you can see by the design of it, it's a one pot stove. Okay, so you're going to need to be able to cook one pot recipes on this stove as well. Like I said previously, the top of this will take a massive pot, okay, or a pan. So what we're going to look at today is I'm going to do a one pot recipe. I'm going to do some paella. So what we'll do is we'll just have a look at the ingredients I've got in my bag to make a one pot paella. Right, so we have got boil in a bag rice, but I'm going to split that into the pan. Some peas. And then I've got a bag of mixed seafood. Inside of there is calamari, mussels and prawns. I've got a bit of chorizo. Got 500 ml of chicken stock. And then inside of here I've got some herbs and some spices that we're going to use. And I've also got the onion that I scrumped from the field on the way down. Right then, so let's get the stove fired up and we'll get this recipe on the go. We're going to use fuel today from the pack that came with the stove. It has a striker and a few long matches. So we've got some tinder bundles here that I'm sure have been soaked in some accelerant, so we'll use some of those. And then we've got this kindling. And then we've also got these pressed logs that we'll use as fuel as well. Right, so let's see how it lights up. So we'll use one of these little tinder bundles here. So obviously this can be fuel from the top, this can be fuel from the bottom. So I'll just let that kindling just take for a second and then wait for these flames just to die down a little bit. So this recipe in itself is a really simple recipe. You don't need a great deal of stuff to be able to do this recipe. So literally it's a one pot meal, which is absolutely perfect for this stove by Anevay here. Everything is literally just two hands just to carry it, so it's not a great deal of stuff that you need to carry. So the first thing that I'm going to do is literally just chop up the onion and the chorizo, and we're going to get those into the pan, get them cooking off. I want some of the colour to come out of the sausage, and I want the onions to brown off first before we stick in the stock and stick in the rice and the seafood. So we'll get this onion cut up. Now I'm a deep believer in, personally, of rough. It's not culinary. Just chop it up, throw it in. We'll just get this onion cut up. Right, let's get the pan on, let's get the onions and the sausage in. Stick some oil in. Now I forgot my spatula, so a bit of kindling will have to do. The great thing about putting the chorizo in at the beginning here is it will bring a lot of colour out, and it's the colour that I like in the paella. Well, that's not a bad heat, that's a little bit too hot. but it's not doing too bad. Good flame coming out of it. All I'm doing, I'm just getting the colour out of the chorizo. I'm just sweating off, browning off these onions, and then the next thing that's going to go in is the chicken stock, and then I'll just get that just simmering, and then in goes the rice and the rest of the ingredients. So what I got in here, this is 500 ml of chicken stock, so we'll just get a bit of that in. I'm going to leave a tiny bit of that. So I can see from now that this stove is not quite central, it's not quite flat because it's all running down to one side there. So it says on the box that you can literally pick this up using the cage and move it. So let's have a go. So that, there's no heat off that at all, so I'm literally just going to just straighten that up a bit. There's a tiny bit of heat on the front there, but on the sides here, that's nice and cool. I can see by the way that this is simmering, and as you probably would guess here, all of the heat is dissipated through the center of the pan here. So it is a case of stirring everything. You haven't got a widespread heat coming out of the stove itself. You can see where the flame is coming out, but using a wide pan like this, I thought would be absolutely perfect for this stove. But you can see as that's simmering, you've got a lot of heat straight in the middle of the pan here. Not a great deal around the outside. So for something like rice that I'm cooking today, it's going to be a case of stirring it a lot. If not, that's going to get very dry and very burnt in the center. Right, so next thing, so in my little case here, in my little box, I've just got some spices in here. So this has got coriander, cumin, salt, pepper and paprika inside of there. I'm also going to stick some turmeric for colour into there as well. Let's have a look at the flame coming through it. So I'll carry with me a boil in the bag rice. So this is enough for 2 people. There's only me down, well, saying that, I've got Muttley down here as well, so I might as well use the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is just rice straight in, and it is going to be a case of stirring this regularly. Alright, that's starting to stick a tiny bit in the centre. Right, those little logs, they've died down in heat now. This is pretty much cooked through at the moment, so I'm just going to stick a bit of water inside of it just to deglaze it. But there is just smouldering heat coming through off those logs at the moment. So this is pretty much done. So how was that to cook on? It didn't get a stable heat until these pre-pressed logs died down and were just embers. So right now there's a nice little, there's a 6-second heat on there, which is perfect. I really like a 6-second heat over a barbecue, over a fire to do stuff. So that's absolute perfect heat just while their embers are on there. When it was cooking with flames, you could see in the center of the pot there that it was just, the heat was quite intense in the center of the pan there, with not much heat radiating around to the outside of the pan there. So it is a case of stirring whatever you're cooking quite regularly. Right, let's give it a go. Oh. I think paella is one of my favourites. 1 bag of boil in the bag rice, a handful of peas, 2 handfuls of seafood mix, some chorizo, some oil, an onion, a few little spices as well. Some turmeric's always good to stick inside of it, and 500 ml of chicken stock. And I did use a little bit of water because some of the fluid did dissipate due to the heat in the centre of the stove. What do we think to this? I really like this as a stove. It's got plus points, it's got negative points, but in general I think the pluses outweigh the negative points. So looking at the negative points of this, It's a bit cumbersome. It's not sort of small, it's not compact, you know, you're not going to fit it in your bag really. You can get a carry bag for this, which helps if you're coming out on a day like today. You can throw it over your shoulder. It's lightweight, it's not heavy, it's strong, it's really built well. It's got a good heat, it really utilises all of the fuel that you're putting in there by gasifying inside of it. It's still got 1.5 of these little pressed wood blocks inside of it. I've done a full meal on there. There's still a 6-second heat on side there. So for something like this on the beach, out of the car, you know, cooking a one-pot meal, it's an absolute perfect little stove, really. These retail at about $79.99, I believe. But yeah, I will definitely be using this again. This is an absolute fantastic bit of kit. So thanks for watching today's video. So that's the Anevay Horizon Stove. You can find more details on these stove and other stoves that Anevay do in the link to their website below here. Please subscribe to the channel just here. There's a couple of videos as always for you to take a look at if you feel like it. Thanks to everyone that subscribed to the channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers now, so I'm really glad and really happy that you're enjoying all of the videos. So that's it for today. I'm just going to drop my drawers and I'm just going to head into the water and have a bit of a swim.